take a seat. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. So, welcome to the lightning round session. We're doing something like PowerPoint roulette, except that I don't know what's up there, but the presenters do. So, this will be a very fun and predictable game. So, up next, we've got first here, Emilia with Qt, and what is new with Qt Learning.
Thank you. Hi, nice to see so many of you here. I know there is a very good talk in the next room, so happy to see you here. My name is Emilia Valkonen-Damjanovic. I'm a senior learning lead at Qt, and as mentioned, we'll be going over a few things about Qt Learning. I only have 5 minutes, so this will be a teaser of the talk that I will do on Monday. So if you are interested in these themes in more detail, please join the talk on Monday. Let's see if I can use this. Okay, so just a recap. Perhaps this is known to you, perhaps not, but as a recap, what is our learning offering? Qt Academy, for once. And then we have Qt University and Talent Network, and also we are offering official Qt developer certificates. Qt Academy, I hope, is known to all of you. Is there someone who's never heard about Qt Academy? Okay. There's always someone that surprises me, but that's good that you don't know it yet. So it is our e-learning platform. We have plenty of courses to get started with Qt. Everything is free. If you have a Qt account, you can easily sign in with single sign-on. But everything is free. We have a booth in the registration room, so if you want to learn more, if you cannot make it to the talk on Monday, please come to talk with us. We have been around for a few years, 2 and a bit more, and we have already more than 46,000 users on Academy, so it's become quite popular. On Monday, I'll be sharing a bit more details, what we've done, and also where we plan to go with Academy. Next, the University and Talent Network. This is somewhat new still, so around a year ago, we launched this. The idea is to build the next generation of Qt talent. So really get students involved, participate, do different kind of collaborations with the universities. We've done project work, hackathons, a lot of different kind of things. Obviously, we are offering educational licensing as well, but we want to go deeper, not just to offer the licensing, but actually do something to get people interested in Qt. And this is a lot of awareness building. Believe it or not, students do not know Qt, so it is a lot about, okay, what can you do with Qt, and would this be something that you might be interested in? Okay, here's how to get started. One thing that we are doing as part of University and Talent Network is our own coding competition called Qtathon. This is for students, and this is something we organized last year for the first time. We had 100 teams from more than 20 countries participating, and this year we're doing it again very soon, launching this, and we are hoping to get 200 teams this year. The third and final thing that I want to bring to your attention are our official Qt developer certificates. We did certifications years back. Maybe some of you even took a certificate. It was in-person testing, but now we've launched our certification testing platform, so you can actually do the testing online. Now, in the starting phases, we have one test available, which is Qt 6.8 Foundations, but very soon we'll hope to have more tests available. So if you feel like this is something you're interested in, there will be more info on our website, and also on Monday's talk I'll be sharing a bit more details of what it will look like to take the tests. Like mentioned, I will cover these topics in very much more detail on Monday, if you have time, if you are here to join the talk. If not, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be here throughout the weekend, and as mentioned, we have the Academy booth in the registration room. So, and also I think there is a space on Monday booked for us, so just come and talk to us. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Right on time. So next up, while I get the slides pulled up, we will have Marco talking to us about gently retiring K-Wallet. Clap.
Okay, thank you. Um, so, what did what anything terrible did K-Wallet to us? Uh, why killing it? First of all, I don't really say that we should kill it now, but it's something that at some point we probably may want to consider, because it's quite old code that mostly kind of works, uh, but there are not many people around left that are really confident with that, especially the actual data handling on this. So uh, anything that could be needed to be done could end up either causing security issues or leading to data corruption for users, which is not good. Arguably, any other system could have potentially the same problem, but nowadays there are also many possible systems to store passwords, and some people have strong preferences. Like there are many people that really like to use KPassXE instead. Um, the good the good thing for a decent future interoperability is that both K-Wallet and KPassXE can speak the secret service, the bus API. So that's basically what I leverage to make KPassXE or non-keyring or anything else being usable with the actually old crusty K-Wallet API. That the DBus, another problem is that it's DBus API, it's also everything is sync, so not beautiful to avoid freezes in your applications. And another thing that people are constantly complaining about is that its first run experience, it's not really good. Is that weird dialogue that asks if you want it's a blowfish or a GPG wallet, what the hell does it mean? Um, so even if we keep K-Wallet and keep improving it, we should really take a stab at that. But what I'm talking about uh, specifically is how to just replace it. Okay. So replace it. Nothing should be. Hmm? Okay. Okay. Um, uh, we can just replace it with something else from one day to the other, because all the applications that are using the K-Wallet API keep to be working, because we want to support all of them eventually to keychain, but this is kind of an orthogonal problem. Even if we don't have port everything should still work, even those that have not been ported. And even if we switch to a new backend, all the data, um, existing passwords of users must be retained. So the first step that I did was to split in two daemons. So one new daemon, um, K-Wallet, the part that exposes the old K-Wallet dbus API, and the daemon that actually does the secret storage. That is not called ksecretd. Basically, ksecretd is 90+% of the code is the old K-Wallet, while the daemon that is now called K-Wallet has been written from scratch, and it's just this translation layer. So what does gives to us? It gives mostly the fact that this new K-wallet daemon it's only a proxy with the Secret Service API. So if I want to use a new storage, like let's say I want to use KeePassXC, I just have there is so far just a kind of secret-ish configuration key. It's not in a GUI yet. It will probably be eventually to enable the migration. So it will not start up the K-secret D part anymore. So you are using as your secret service provider, KeePassXC or GNOME Keyring or whatever you want. And the first time this K-wallet daemon will do a data migration, it will get out of the K-wallet backend all of your passwords, and with Secret Service will store all of them in the new backend, so you keep all your stuff and you're using K-Secret D. So applications that are speaking Secret Service directly will just use, for instance, KPass directly, but everything that is still using the K-Wallet API, which is the part that we are actually kind of sure we want to retire, those like Kio, like Network Manager, and like few other things in KD that are using that, will talk to K-Wallet that will translate and talk to the new Secret Service provider. And so transparently, the user ideally shouldn't notice. This can be done already. And this also opens to us the possibility of eventually migrating to a new backend someday, either written by us or adopting some third-party thing, which could also be a good idea, perhaps. Together with that, there is also a new application called Keep Secret that is basically K-Wallet Manager, but that talks only Secret Service. Since K-Wallet Manager only talks the old API. It's a QML Kirigami thing. It works decently both on desktop and mobile. Eventually, this can replace K-Wallet Manager. Doesn't have all the features still, but shouldn't be that far from it. And this can be already used even if you are using still the old backend, since the old backend also can talk Secret Service. You can use that also today to in place of K-Wallet Manager. It will basically just work if you are set K-Secret D to actually export the Secret Service publicly, the Secret Service interface, which can be done by a KCM. For the backend service, we can just improve the current one. I'm not sure, I don't know. We can revive an old project we had once, K-Secret Service, but since of all those migration problems, it kind of fizzled out. Or we could try to, yes. Okay, so no, there will be a BOF Tuesday, 11 a.m.
Thank you. So next then, I'm going to pull up your slides here. We have Volker, who's going to send us into a state of emergency and panic? No, emergency weather alerts.
Emergency or weather alerts, or for the more clickbaity title, how to not have your life depend on Google. Right, and we are talking about this here because mobile phones have become the most important form of alerting, right? That used to be sirens or media broadcasts, and now it's this. There is technically, or there's two ways how this is usually done technically. One is cell broadcast. That's a topic for Monday. And the other one is push notifications. That's what this talk is about. Practically all the existing infrastructure for this is proprietary. And that doesn't just mean proprietary apps, much worse. It means those also only work on proprietary infrastructure, not proprietary platforms, right? So if you're not willing or able to use Android or Google, Android or Apple devices, right, then yeah, tough luck, you don't get the alerts. Those systems are often also limited to one region. So how many of you who traveled here from outside Germany installed the official German alerting app, right? So one at least, but hardly anyone does that, right? So what we want instead is free and open infrastructure that allows us to receive the alerts on whatever platform we want, anywhere in the world. And that ties into a bigger picture of the United Nations Early Warning for All initiative, which has the stated goal that by 2027, everyone should have access to early warnings, at least for like weather and climate-related events. And I mean, that is, if by everyone we really mean everyone, then that isn't going to work without free and open infrastructure that can be twisted to everyone's needs, right? If you just think about the accessibility scenarios in this, right, it's nice that my phone makes a lot of noise if there's an alert. If I can't hear, that is not the most effective way for this to work, right? Instead, I might want to blink the lights in my home or something like this. So in order to build this, the first thing we need is push notification infrastructure. I spoke about that 3 years ago at Academy already. Back then we had a prototype. Nowadays, the client infrastructure is shipped since a couple of gear releases already. We have the server-side infrastructure rolled out at KDE. And we have our Matrix and Mastodon clients using this. And Unified Push, the protocol this is based on, also evolved quite a bit. So we got a number of interesting security features, but also compatibility with Mozilla's push infrastructure, so giving us more options there. Wrong direction. The second thing we need is an alert aggregation service. So that's a thing that collects messages from alerting authorities and then allows clients to monitor an area of interest, and when something happens there, right, you get a notification. We are building this together with Phoswan, who also have an LDAT funding for this work. And it's based on the OASIS Common Alerting Protocol, which thankfully is very widely used all over the world, which significantly simplifies that work. The screenshot here is from the monitoring UI showing currently active alerts. We are processing, I think, about 250 alert feeds from 140-ish countries. So that isn't really global coverage yet. But in terms of what you can realistically expect there, that's not too bad. This is running since a couple of months, quite stable already. Most of the development focus is on robustness and scalability, so we can keep the 1 minute latency design goal even under more extreme conditions. Since we are working with data from public administration here, the usual conditions apply, unfortunately here as well. And I mean, I was hoping this would be different for this kind of data, because that can literally save lives, right? So you don't have to scroll back far in the news to find events where shortcomings in the alerting is assumed to have contributed to the number of casualties, right? There's the flooding in Texas or in Valencia or Ahrtal in Germany. So you would assume an inherent interest in quickly and widely sharing that information. And you might not expect captures, geo-blocking, paywalls, license conditions preventing redistribution, or outright refusal of access, right? We encountered all of that. Another very fundamental thing in alerting is, right, you do not use an alert system for anything else but alerts, because otherwise people start to ignore this, and that again is very dangerous. So you might not expect alerts for job advertisements, gardening tips, or a call for participation in the local festival parade. Again, all examples we found. First screenshot is a job opportunity alert in Canada. Another thing you will expect is that the goal is to give people all the information they need to take the right decisions to get themselves and others to safety, rather than, say, leaking out organizational implementation details. So the middle screenshot is a toxic smoke cloud that magically disappears when crossing a state border and then somehow reappears on the other side. So I'm not an expert, but I don't think that's how it works. The clipped out area here, by the way, is Berlin, so you have nothing to worry about. And the last example, that's a bad web inspector screenshot only, unfortunately, also from Berlin. That was an alert for icy roads, perfectly justified that day. But if you look at how that is categorized, first of all, it's not weather related apparently, but it is a fire, and it gets worse. CBRNE, that is chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, or high yield explosive. And now, if your application does the obvious thing and uses the category to select an icon, you don't want to wake up to the radiation icon in front of your home. So, I mean, all of this is stuff we can't really change here, but it's good to know to have the right expectations, right? So the thing that I actually want to talk with you about here is how do we integrate this on the client side now that we have the infrastructure. We have a dedicated app prototype, so that implements all of this. But I'm not sure if that is really the best way to ship this, right? We could think about deeper integration in Plasma itself. It also kind of overlaps in parts with the weather apps and weather applets. Then there is anything that shows a map. It might be interesting to show an overlay with the affected areas, like Google Maps does something like that, and that can be really useful. And then, of course, the reason why I ended up in this rabbit hole for 3 years, itinerary knows where you're about to travel, right? And so we could maybe use that to monitor those locations as well. So if you have ideas or input on this, yeah, let's talk. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. We have 30 seconds for one question. Just kidding, okay. So coming up next then, we will have Alexander Lonau with Boosting Your Code and Simplifying Your Life with Clazy. Come on up.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. And today I'm going to talk about boosting your code and simplifying your life with Clazy. First of all, let's quickly talk about what is Clazy, because not everyone might know it. It's a Clang-based static code analysis tool for C++. And it's developed primarily for Qt code, but it can work or be useful for other projects too. And it provides compile time checks to catch common performance and correctness issues. It also has a lot of useful readability checks. It runs as a Clang plugin or via a command line interface. The checks are organized in different levels, like level 0, 1, 2, and manual level. And you can think of that like an ordinal scale on how critical the issue is or how reliable the detection for the issue also is. Some checks also provide so-called fix-its, and they are replacement snippets, like for lazy people who just want to have a copy-paste snippet that they can utilize. So, my history with Clazy and how did I end up talking about it? I initially started playing around with it as part of my development process, but due to broken KDE Neon packages at the time, I had to compile it from source, and that was like my first real development contact with Clazy. My first patch was in December 2023, where I was with KDE for 3 years already. It was like a boring documentation adjustment. But a few days later, I had my first real code contribution about fixing a false positive in a check about using a static regular expression. And you can see a snippet from Plasma Workspace here. Like there is a string literal, like this panel, and then the placeholder and the dollar. And after that, we used the .arg method to put the panel ID in there. And Clazy mistakenly thought that the whole parameter for the regular expression was a literal, but it's of course subject to change if we call this with a different panel ID. So there it had, false positive, which actually caused a little bug. So starting out with my development streak in Clazy, the first steps to like work on Clazy and get everything running was quite hard, and we also had no real CI coverage except that the stuff compiles. So my first mission was to make contributing to it easier. So I improved the test setup, and you can now just run ctest from the build directory without having to install it or setting any magic environment variables, and it's blazing fast on CI also. And we have a lot of generated files in there, and it's also verified that they are not stalled or anything. So it's a pretty good safety net for contributors, and I hope maybe some people of you will contribute to it in the future. But at the time, many checks did not work with Qt 6, even though Frameworks was already utilizing it. Or C++17 also had its fair share of issues because the syntax tree looked rather different there. It was like a ton of work, but like with the version 1.12, everything was great again. And it was the first release since 2.5 years. So you can see the Clazy development test stalled there for quite a bit, but now it's up to speed again. After doing this major challenge, I looked at the checks and did lots of improvements and fixes for false positives. And there I used like real-world examples from KDE's codebase to look for issues if there are like something that needs to be actually fixed or if it's just noise. And I also focused on providing fix-its for existing checks so that it's easier to just fix the issues identified by Clazy. An example from this is QColor from literal. The check says if you have a QColor constructed, it's best to pass in just a number rather than a string, which causes some string parsing to be done, which is of course not as efficient. And in case you pass in a simple RGBH value, Clazy will suggest just passing in a hex number instead, which is like pretty simple. But in case it's an RGBH pattern with the transparency, it's a bit more tricky and not just 3 keystrokes, but there it also tells you how you can fix this. If you have a typo or so, you will also get a report if you have an invalid string pattern. So it also not only improves performance, but also helps you to identify bugs early. Now let's talk about how you can integrate and run Clazy. There are 2 main ways. You can use the Clang plugin during compilation or the Clazy standalone executable. The Clang plugin is based in or is wrapped in the Clazy shell script, and you can just set your compiler to Clazy and then it will run during compilation. And Clazy standalone basically does the same, but does not compile the code. And like many other Clang tools, it utilizes the compile commands JSON file. To configure the checks that Clazy uses, you can use the Clazy checks environment variables, and that contains a combination of the levels that I've told you before and the individual check names. And you can see an example where I have some level, another check manually added, and also disabled another check with using the no prefix. But if we only use Clazy, the Clang Tidy people will be rather sad. And now I'm going to tell you why you should care about this, because the Clang ecosystem has its own linter called Clang Tidy, and this offers performance modernization and bug checks, and it's really, really great. And like Clazy standalone, it operates on a compile commands JSON file, so they are rather similar in that regard. And Clang Tidy also supports external plugins, and KDE, of course, loves plugins. But it was a bit tricky because the API is far more restrictive than for the compiler version or the standalone one. So I did a lot of refactorings and stuff, like 9 pull requests in total to allow people to actually properly review it, greatly improving the flexibility of the internal API, and then did the integration of the plugin. But the check registration and how we configure this is still a bit different. Like, we don't have the concept of check levels, but we can use wildcards to allow multiple checks without listing all of them explicitly. In case you want to utilize Clang Tidy with Clazy, you have to grab the latest release or compile from source, and then just tell Clang Tidy to load the Clazy Clang Tidy plugin. In case it's not in your path, in your library path, just pass in an absolute one. And when configuring all of the checks that Clang Tidy should do, you have to use the Clazy prefix for checks that come from Clazy. An example is here that you can enable qDatetime UTC or qgetEnv, and you just comma separate all of them. Because we can't have any levels like level 1 or level 0, you can define some helper environment variables. I've listed them on my blog also, like you can check this out later if you want. And then you can define a helper which contains like all of the checks from level 0 or level 1. And you can disable checks using the minus flag. And when running Clang Tidy, it can take quite a while, but if you use the small wrapper script, run Clang Tidy, all of it is parallelized, and it will be much quicker, and also you can pass in all of the command line flags as before, and you don't have to change anything. So you don't need to do any scripting yourself. You also have to consider that warnings outside of the source files you pass into Clang Tidy are hidden by default. So if you have a C++ file, but the linter or the Clazy check complains about something in the header, it is hidden by default. But you can just set the header filter to .star in order to get all of the warnings shown. And Clang Tidy has its own set of instructions to skip some linting lines, like no lint next line, no lint begin, end. And historically, Clazy had its own, but I made sure that Clazy now supports all of the ones that Clang Tidy does. So you can use the same set of instructions no matter if you run Clang Tidy with the Clazy plugin or Clazy standalone or Clazy with the Clang compiler plugin. Yeah, thank you very much and happy hacking. In case you have any issues or ideas, I'll be running around here, so feel free to reach out to me.
That was great. Thank you so much to our presenters from the lightning session there. Technically, we have the room for another 30 seconds or so, but who cares? Next room next door is going on for another 5 minutes or so, but this otherwise concludes your first day of Academy. We will be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., the keynote in this room, Politics of the Pull Request, How Open Standards Can Shift Power by Paloma Oliveira. Don't forget your badge tomorrow. You're on your own for dinner. Enjoy Berlin. It's a wonderful city. Good luck. Godspeed.